The first time it happened, I told myself it was a trick of light. That's what people always say, isn't it? When something impossible nudges at the edges of reason, we dress it in something harmless. A reflection glitch. Shadow misstep. A mind tired from too many sleepless nights. But the truth is, even then, especially then, I knew. It began on a Tuesday evening, the kind that dissolves quietly into night without asking permission. Rain tapped gently against the apartment windows, not in a storm, but in that patient, persistent way that makes everything feel damp, even your thoughts. I had just moved in 3 days earlier. The apartment was cheap. That should have been my first warning. It sat on the 4th floor of an aging building, its hallways smelling faintly of bleach and something older underneath, something sour, like soaked wood that had never quite dried. The landlord, a man who avoided eye contact as if it cost him money, handed me the keys without ceremony. "No trouble here," he had said. That line stayed with me longer than it should have. The bathroom mirror was already there when I moved in. Oval-shaped, slightly too tall, mounted above a sink that had seen better decades. The edges of the glass were worn, faintly clouded, as if time itself had tried to erase it but failed halfway through. I remember pausing when I first saw it. Not because of anything dramatic. No. Just a hesitation. A strange reluctance to step closer. But I did, of course. You always do. I stood in front of it, suitcase still in my hand, and looked at myself. Same tired eyes. Same faint scar above my left eyebrow from a childhood fall I barely remembered. Everything exactly as it should be, except nothing. Just imagination. I shook it off. 3 days later, on that rain-soaked Tuesday, I stood in front of the mirror again. I had just brushed my teeth. Foam still lingered at the corners of my mouth as I leaned forward to rinse. The bathroom light flickered once overhead, a brief, irritated stutter. "Of course," I muttered. I spat into the sink, turned the tap, and cupped water into my mouth. Cold, metallic. The pipes groaned softly behind the walls like something shifting in its sleep. Then I looked up and froze. My reflection was still looking down. It lasted less than a second. A blink, a glitch, a delay. But I saw it. I felt it. My real eyes had already lifted, meeting the mirror. But the version of me inside it lagged behind, a fraction too slow. I stared. The reflection stared back, perfectly aligned now, mocking me with its normalcy. "You're tired," I whispered. The words sounded wrong in the small bathroom, like they didn't belong to me. Too flat, too rehearsed. I leaned closer. The mirror's surface had that faint ripple you only notice when you're too close, like looking into still water that remembers movement. "Just tired," I repeated. My reflection's lips moved with mine. Exactly, perfectly. That should have been the end of it. But something had already slipped out of place. And once something moves even slightly, it never truly goes back. I tried to distract myself. Unpacked boxes. Set up my laptop. Made coffee that tasted like burnt regret. But my mind kept circling back to that moment. That delay. Not long enough to prove anything, but long enough to question everything. By midnight, the rain had stopped. The silence that followed was worse. No cars, no voices. Just the occasional distant creak of the building settling like bones adjusting under old skin. I couldn't sleep. So I did what people always do when they shouldn't. I went back to the mirror. The hallway light was off. I don't remember turning it off. The apartment felt different at night. Not darker, just deeper. Shadows seemed to have weight, pooling in corners like they had somewhere to be. The bathroom door stood slightly ajar. I was certain I had closed it. A thin line of darkness stretched across the floor from inside. I hesitated, then pushed it open. The mirror waited. That's the only word that fits. It didn't just exist there, it waited. The overhead light flickered again when I flipped the switch. Twice. Then steadied into a dull yellow glow. I stepped inside. The air felt colder than the rest of the apartment. Evio. Like the room was holding its breath, I stood in front of the mirror. And for a long moment, nothing happened. I almost laughed. See? I said quietly. Nothing. My reflection agreed.
Same posture.
Same slight tilt of the head.
Same forced smile.
Then I blinked, and it didn't. It was subtle. So subtle I almost missed it. But I felt it before I fully saw it. That wrongness. That tiny fracture in reality. My eyelids closed. Darkness brief, natural, expected. But when they opened again, my reflection's eyes were already open.
Watching.
Waiting. My breath caught.
No.
The reflection didn't respond immediately. It just looked, studied me, like I was the one behind glass. Then, slowly it blinked, a second too late. I stumbled back, hitting the edge of the sink. Pain shot up my spine, grounding me in something real, something physical. "This isn't happening," I said. But the mirror didn't argue. It never argued. It just showed. I forced myself to step forward again. Closer, closer, until my face was inches from the glass. My reflection mirrored the movement perfectly now. Too perfectly. As if it had corrected itself. As if it had learned. "Do it again," I whispered. My reflection waited, so I blinked. Once, twice, 3 times. Each time it followed. Perfect. Synchronized.
Normal.
A laugh bubbled up in my throat, sharp, nervous, desperate.
See? Just your head.
I leaned back, relief beginning to creep in, and that's when it happened. My reflection smiled. Before I did. Not a wide grin. Not something dramatic. Just a small, quiet curl of the lips. Subtle. Intentional. Wrong. I hadn't moved yet. I hadn't even decided to smile. But there it was. Already there. Waiting for me to catch up.
Slowly.
Pulled by something I couldn't see. Matching the expression. Becoming it. I tried to stop. I couldn't. The smile spread across my face like it belonged to someone else. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears, drowning out everything else. And in the mirror it widened further. Too wide. Stretching just beyond natural. Teeth showing. Eyes unblinking. Alive in a way I was not. Then it stopped. Snapped back into perfect alignment with me. As if nothing had happened. I staggered away from the sink, nearly slipping on the tile.
No.
The words came out broken, uneven. I turned away from the mirror. That felt important, necessary, like breaking eye contact with something that might otherwise follow. I left the bathroom door open. I didn't dare close it, because something in me knew if I closed it, if I gave it a boundary, it might decide to cross it. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the hallway, watching the open bathroom door like it might move, like something might step through. At around 3:17 a.m. I heard it. A soft sound. Barely there. "Ay!" From the mirror. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Didn't even blink. Another tap. Slightly louder this time.
Like something on the other side.
And then very faintly I heard my own voice.
From inside the bathroom.
"Hey!" But I hadn't spoken. Let me try again. I didn't answer it. That's the only reason I can still tell this story the way I do. Because something in me, something older than logic, older than fear, understood that responding would mean acknowledging it. And acknowledgement is a kind of invitation.
So I sat
rigid, listening. "Hey!" The voice came again, softer this time. Not from the hallway, not from the walls, from the bathroom, from the mirror.
From me.
It sounded almost identical, almost. But there was something hollow beneath it. Like my voice had been recorded, then played back in a room too large, too empty. There was a faint echo that didn't belong to my apartment, or this world. "Come on," it said gently now. "You saw it too." My throat tightened. I swallowed hard, tasting something metallic, fear maybe, or the lingering ghost of tap water. "Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't, you're being rude." That did it. Not the words themselves, but the tone. It wasn't pleading anymore. It was disappointed. I stood up, slowly. My legs felt unsteady, like they weren't entirely convinced they belonged to me anymore. Every instinct screamed at me to leave the apartment, to grab my keys, run down 4 flights of stairs, and never come back. But another feeling pressed in, quieter, heavier. Curiosity. The most dangerous instinct of all. I took a step toward the hallway. The bathroom door was still open, still dark. The light inside had gone out. "I didn't turn that off," I whispered. No answer. Another step. The floor creaked beneath my weight, loud in the silence. The sound seemed to travel too far, echoing down a hallway that wasn't that long. Or maybe it was. "You're coming back," the voice said. Closer now.
Click. I stopped.
Right at the threshold. The bathroom loomed in front of me, a rectangle of darkness framed by peeling paint and quiet rot. The air that drifted out was colder than before, and damp, not like rain. Like, "Just talk to me," it said. I forced myself to speak. One word. Careful. Controlled.
What are you?
Silence. For a moment, I thought that had been the wrong move, that I had crossed something unseen. Then a soft chuckle.
My voice.
But not mine.
I was hoping you'd ask that.
The bathroom light flickered on, by itself. I flinched. The sudden yellow glow filled the room again, harsh and unnatural, like it had been forced into existence. And there the mirror. It reflected the empty bathroom. Sink. Tile. Flickering light. Everything exactly as it should be. Except there was no one in it. I was standing in the doorway. I could feel my body, my breath, my heart. But the mirror showed nothing.
My chest tight. No. No turn around.
The voice came from behind me. Close. Too close. Every muscle in my body locked. I didn't want to. God, I didn't want to. But something in the tone calm. Expected made it impossible not to.
Slowly.
The hallway stretched out behind me. Empty. Exactly as it had been. "See?" the voice said. From the bathroom,
I whipped back around.
and nearly screamed. The mirror now showed me. Standing there, frozen, eyes wide. But the angle was wrong. It wasn't reflecting me from the front. It was showing me from behind. As if something stood where I should be, looking at me. My reflection, no, not my reflection, tilted its head. The back of my own head moved in a way I hadn't. "Better," it said. My mouth didn't move. "You're starting to pay attention." My reflection turned, slowly, unnaturally smooth, until it faced me fully. Face to face.
Eye to eye.
Except its eyes were wrong. They were mine. Same shape.
Same color.
But there was depth behind them. Movement. Like something swimming just beneath the surface.
What?
Thinking. I stumbled backward. But it didn't follow. It stayed in the mirror. Contained. For now.
What do you...
I asked. The question slipped out before I could stop it. Its smile came instantly. Too quickly. Like it had been waiting. "You," it said simply. My stomach dropped. "Don't flatter yourself," it added almost playfully. "Not all of you." I shook my head, trying to ground myself, trying to find something rational to hold on to. This isn't real. This is stress. Sleep deprivation. I'm hallucinating. It leaned closer to the glass. So close my breath fogged the surface.
If that helps, it said.
Then it lifted a hand, pressed it flat against the inside of the mirror. The glass bent, not cracked, not shattered, but like it wasn't solid anymore. Like it was something thinner, weaker. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Don't." Too late. Its fingers pushed forward. The surface stretched around them like liquid resisting intrusion, rippling, straining. And then one fingertip broke through, cold.
White.
Tupale. It slipped into my world like it belonged there. I screamed. Staggered back, hitting the hallway wall. My vision blurred, panic clawing its way up my throat.
Relax, it said.
Its voice now came from both sides. Inside the mirror and outside. The finger withdrew, slowly, reluctantly. The glass sealed behind it, smooth, unbroken. It smiled again, calmer now, satisfied.
"See?"
It said. "We're not so different." I shook my head violently.
No, you stay there. You don't come out. You don't tell anyone.
Something shifted in its expression. Something darker. "You think I need the mirror?" The bathroom light flickered again. Harder this time. Violently.
Once.
Twice. 3 times, then went out. Darkness swallowed the room. I backed away blindly, my hands scraping against the hallway wall, trying to put distance between me and that space. "That thing,"
Wait, it said.
From the dark, closer now.
Much closer. I wasn't finished.
Something moved, not, but felt. A presence shifting forward, crossing something invisible. And then, in the darkness, I heard footsteps. Not mine. Coming out of the bathroom. The footsteps were wrong. That was the first thing my mind latched onto. Not the impossibility of them. Not the fact that something had just stepped out of a mirror. No, it was the rhythm. They didn't match mine. Each step was just slightly off. Too slow. Too deliberate. Like something was learning how to walk by watching me do it. I pressed myself against the hallway wall, my breath shallow, my hands trembling as they searched blindly for anything solid, anything real.
Stuck.
The footsteps stopped. Silence flooded the apartment. Thick, heavy, waiting. Then a breath, right in front of me. Cold, damp.
Not mine.
You said I should stay there, it murmured. The voice was clearer now, stronger, no longer echoing, no longer distant. It was here. I tried, it continued, almost apologetically. But you kept looking. My back hit the wall. Nowhere left to go. Open your eyes. I don't want to, I said. A pause. Then that's all right. Something shifted, closer. You don't need them. I felt it then. A hand, not touching me, hovering, just inches from my face. Close enough that the air changed. That awful damp cold pressing against my skin.
See? It went. And then it touched my cheek.
The sensation was immediate and wrong. Not cold like ice. Not warm like skin. Something in between. Something that didn't belong to any living thing. I gasped, my eyes snapping open. And there it was.
Me.
Standing inches away. But not quite. The proportions were right. The face was right. The scar above the eyebrow perfect. But the details, the eyes just slightly too wide. The smile already forming. Before I did anything, I was right, it said, studying me. This side feels better. I tried to move. I couldn't. Not because it was holding me. It wasn't touching me anymore. But because something deeper had locked in place. Like my body had decided it wasn't fully mine. It tilted its head, mirroring a motion I hadn't made. You're resisting, it observed. Of course I am, I snapped. My voice cracked. But at least it was mine. It frowned slightly, as if disappointed. That's the problem, it said. The hallway light flickered, and suddenly I wasn't in the hallway anymore. I was in the bathroom, facing the mirror, alone. My breath came fast, too fast. I grabbed the sink, grounding myself, staring into the glass. My reflection stared back. Perfect, normal. No, that's not. It blinked, late. My stomach twisted. Still here, it said. From behind me, I spun around, empty. Back to the mirror. My reflection was gone. The glass showed only the bathroom. No me, no sink, no depth, just... And inside that room it stood, looking out. You see it now, it said. I backed away slowly, my legs weak, my mind unraveling. What are you? I whispered again. It stepped closer. Inside the mirror. I'm what happens, it said softly, when you look too long. Its hand pressed against the glass again. This time there was no resistance. The surface didn't bend, didn't ripple. It opened, like a mouth, and it stepped through. No struggle, no distortion. Just one step and it was here, fully. The air changed instantly, heavier, thicker, like the apartment itself had inhaled and forgotten how to exhale. I stumbled backward, my mind screaming, my body finally breaking free of whatever had held it. Stay away from me. It didn't stop. You invited me, it said. I did not. You watched, it corrected gently. You questioned. You came back. Each word came with a step closer.
Measure. Sift down.
That's all it takes. I reached behind me, my hands slamming against the hallway wall, searching for the door, for escape, for anything there is no outside, it said. My fingers found the doorknob. I twisted it. It didn't open. The hallway beyond had changed. It stretched. Longer, darker, endless. You don't need that anymore, it said. I turned back. It was right in front of me now. close enough that I could see the details clearly, the slight shimmer beneath its skin. The way its eyes didn't just look at me, they moved through me. "You're tired," it said softly. Its hand lifted again. Slow, careful. This time it grabbed my wrist, and everything stopped. Sound, movement, time, gone. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't exist. There was only it, and then a pull. Not physical, not something deeper. Something inside me being dragged forward, toward the mirror. I screamed. No sound came out. The bathroom returned, violently. The mirror stood in front of me again, but this time I was inside it, looking out. My hands slammed against the glass, cold, solid, unyielding. No. Outside it stood, in my place, breathing, blinking, alive. It flexed its fingers, examined them. Much better. My voice. Perfect. I pounded against the mirror. Again. Nothing. It looked at me, smiled. Not too wide this time, not unnatural. Perfect. "I'll take care of things," it said. Then it leaned closer and whispered, "Try not to look too long." The bathroom light flickered once, and I was alone, inside the mirror, watching it walk away. My reflection smiled. First part 4, the resolution, twist ending. Time doesn't move the same way in the mirror. That's the first thing I understood. Not immediately, not clearly, but slowly, like something dripping through cracks in my mind. At first I thought I was screaming. I remember the feeling of it, the strain in my throat, the desperation clawing upward, the need to make any sound. But there was nothing. No voice.
No hecho.
Not even silence.
Just.
The mirror wasn't a room. Not really. It was a copy, a hollow imitation of space. The bathroom existed, but without weight, without smell, without warmth. Every surface looked right but felt unfinished, like a memory of a place rather than the place itself. I touched the glass again. From this side, it wasn't smooth. It pulsed, faintly, like something alive. "Hello?" I tried again. This time something answered. Not a voice, not words, a movement behind me. I turned, slowly, and saw myself, but not me. There were others, dozens, standing in the empty reflection of the bathroom. All of them me. Different versions, different expressions, different moments. One stood hunched, trembling, eyes darting wildly. Another sat on the floor, knees pulled to chest, rocking slightly. One stood completely still, smiling faintly at nothing. And one stood at the back.
Watching.
Its smile was the same one. The first one. The one that came before mine. My chest tightened. "What is this?" I whispered. The others didn't react, didn't move, didn't even seem to hear me. Except that one. It stepped forward, slow, measured. "You're new," it said. My voice. "But older. Tired." I shook my head, backing away instinctively.
No, I just gotta hear this.
It smiled wider.
That's what I said too.
My stomach dropped. "How long have you been here?" I asked. It tilted its head, thinking. "I don't know," it said finally. "Time doesn't stack properly." It gestured around. They all asked that. I looked at the others again, really looked. Each one was fading, edges blurred, details softening.
"Where do they go?"
I whispered. The smile didn't fade. "They don't." Something in the way it said that made my skin crawl. "They stay," it continued. "Just," I felt it then. Too subtle, like something gently pulling at my edges. "No," I said. "No, I'm not staying here. I'll get out." It laughed, soft, almost kind. "You think I didn't try?" It stepped closer. Too close. "Go ahead," it said. "Knock." I turned back to the glass, pressed my hands against it, and knocked.
Once.
Nothing. Twice. Nothing. Then from the other side someone answered. A soft knock. My breath caught. "There," the older version of me said.
"See?"
I leaned closer, desperate. "Hey!" I shouted. "Hey! Listen to me! Don't!" The bathroom light flickered on the other side, and someone stepped in. A man. Not me. Different face, different posture, but the same hesitation, the same subtle pause as he approached the mirror. My heart dropped.
No, I would.
No, don't. He stepped closer, closer, closer until he stood right in front of the mirror, looking directly at me, except he couldn't see me. To him, he was looking at himself.
What's wrong? He muttered.
I pounded against the glass, screamed, begged. Nothing reached him. Say something, the older version of me whispered behind me.
What?
I hesitated, just for a second. Then I spoke.
Hey.
The man froze. My blood turned to ice. His eyes widened. He leaned closer to the mirror.
Hello, he said.
The older version of me smiled, and in the reflection before the man could move, his reflection smiled first. I staggered back.
No.
No, do you understand now? The older one said. I shook my head violently. We're not trapped, it said. It stepped beside me. Looking through the glass, watching the man, we're the echo. The man in the other world touched the mirror, tentatively, and the surface began to ripple. He's gonna take your place, I said, horrified. The older one chuckled. No, it said. Its voice dropped, lower, darker.
He's gonna take yours.
I froze.
What?
It turned to me, and for the first time its expression changed. The smile faded. Something else took its place. Hunger. You're not the first layer, it said softly. My mind reeled.
What are you talking about?
It stepped closer. Did you really think you were the original? The words hit like a physical blow.
No, I said.
No, I remember my life. My memories are easy, it said gently. It reached out, touched my face. The same wrong sensation, and suddenly flashes. A bathroom, not this one. Different. A mirror, a smile. Before I made it, my breath stopped. I was you, it whispered. My legs gave out. I hit the ground hard. And you, it continued, nodding toward the man beyond the glass, will be him. The realization sank in. Final. This doesn't stop, I whispered. It smiled again. That same first smile?
No,
It spreads. The man outside pressed harder against the mirror. The surface began to open. I screamed. But this time I knew he would hear me, and he would answer. The last thing I saw before everything began again was his reflection, watching him, learning him,
waiting.